Hey folks, Bill Armstrong here. This screencast I'm going to go over the main features of the My Math Lab. This is where all the course content will be, the ebook, your online quizzes, etc., etc. So first off, this is my homepage. Your homepage may look a little bit different because this is the instructor homepage. So for example, when you log on, you're not going to see some of this stuff over here, because it's not available. But don't worry about it. Let's get started by over here on the left. Let's first go look at the course information tab. You'll notice in the course information tab there are 6 documents here: the syllabus, the academic calendar, the online orientation, protocol for sending email, a list of all the homework, the end of section homework exercises you should be doing to master the concepts. And then the final thing is the answers to those homework problems. So first things first, let's look at the course syllabus. Brief description here. It looks like there's something important that's in the course syllabus. Let's go ahead and click on it. By the way, the syllabus is one document that, there's going to be a few documents, but this is one that I believe you should definitely print out and have a hard copy on hand, so you can always reference it. Let's see. I'm not going to read everything here line by line. First off is the email. Please note, this is my email address. This is the email address you have to use in order to send me an email. That people try to do a search on the Lakeland, when they're in Lakeland email, and if you're on a student account, you won't find this email address. It's an issue. It's an issue with Gmail, but please use this email to send me all email. Office hours for the summer, they're by appointment only. You can see what the prerequisite is, required course material. Please note the Lakeland Blackboard site is not going to be used for this course. Everything is done here at My Math Lab. Handheld technology. Graphing calculator. Now, you should have a graphing calculator for the course. It's required. You will be able to use it on anything in my class. Grading. The course is worth a total of 600 points. 600 points come from tests, the online quizzes, and a final exam. So the breakdown of how those 600 points are determined, each test, there will be 3 tests. Each test is going to be worth 120 points. So here is, the tests and the deadline date and the section coverage for each test. So for example, test 1 has a deadline of Monday, June 24th, and test 1 is over sections 1.9, sections 2.1 through 2.4, and sections 3.1 through 3.4. So this is the first time you will be seeing deadline dates. They are going to appear in many other documents, so you need to know when deadline dates are for everything in the course. But again, there will be 3 tests worth 120 points each. The final exam will also be worth 120 points. We'll get to that here in a little bit. The tests and final exam, you can complete it on any day the testing center at Lakeland is open, up to and including the deadline dates, which are shown in this table, and we'll also see it in the academic calendar. Moving on, some brief notes about tests. When you show up to take tests at the testing center, please bring a photo ID, a pencil, and your graphing calculator. They won't give you a test if you don't have at least a Lakeland ID card or a driver's license. No notes or textbooks, formula cards, etc. Are allowed on tests. So no cheat sheets. see where the deadline dates are. Final note I have here is they will not allow you to start a test 30 minutes prior to the test center closing. So, if you show up and the test center is going to close in 20 minutes, they won't let you start the test. Here are the test center hours for summer. Monday and Tuesdays, they're open from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Wednesday and Thursdays, they're open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday, 8 a.m. to noon. And on Saturday, they're open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and closed on Sunday. Here are a few test center policies. I'm not gonna read through each one of these. That's why I asked you to print out, have a hard copy on hand. So please read those. Online quizzes. This is another component of those 600 points I was talking about. You're going to have a total of 12 online quizzes. Then they're going to be here at the My Math Lab site. We'll look at them here in a moment. They're in the online quiz area. And they're worth 120 points total. So basically each quiz is worth 10 points. The deadline for each quiz will be shown on the academic calendar, and you'll see it here on the syllabus as well. And there will be a section coverage on the academic calendar and below to let you know what will be on each quiz. When you start to take an online quiz, once you start it, you must complete it in one session. There's no time limit. If you need an hour, you have an hour. If you need 2.5 hours, you have 2.5 hours. But once you start, you must complete. If you start a quiz and you answer 2 or 3 questions, and then you realize, oh, hey, you have to go to work or something, you can't stop the quiz and then, 8 hours later come back and pick up. You can't close out of the quiz. Once you start a quiz, it must be completed in one session. Each online quiz can be repeated up to 3 times maximum. So, you take an online quiz and you score an 8 on your first attempt. You still have 2 more attempts to improve upon the 8. So take advantage of that. So here are the online quizzes and the deadline dates and the assigned section for each online quiz. So this is the first time you're seeing deadline dates for online quizzes. This will also be provided on the academic calendar, which we will go over in a little bit. But the point being, deadline dates are mentioned in numerous spots. It is your responsibility to know when deadline dates are for tests as well as online quizzes. Then finally, there's a final exam that's going to be worth 120 points. And here's the breakdown again of the point distribution. So you have 3 tests worth 120 points each, 12 quizzes at 10 points each, so that makes 120 points. The final exam's 120 points, so that's how I determined the courses were 600 points total. There's the grading scale that I will use to determine the final grade in which you earn. And I'll let you, read through on assigning, how I assign course grades. Pretty much it's right here. Some general course tips. First off, it's going to be a fast-paced course. This course is 8 weeks in length. A normal semester is, 15 weeks plus finals week. So, you do the math, this is going to move at twice the pace of a traditional or a regular semester course. So for that reason, don't let the work build up. Do some every day. Do the section by section homework exercises. I have that highlighted here in red. I think doing the section by section homework exercises, might be the most important item to help you be successful in the course. If you have a question, use email. Again, there is my email address. Send me an email. Before you start firing off emails, make sure you follow the protocol for sending email, which we'll go over that here in a minute. Final general course tip is it's an online course, so it's somewhat self-directed. What I mean by that is, you have to have the discipline to kind of keep up with the work so you don't miss deadlines, and following through on that. So if you don't think you have the time, proficiency, or the inclination to learn the material in a self-motivated style, the online class might not be for you. Maybe you need the traditional in-class course instead. But if you kind of follow what I have set out here and what we're going to go over, and you have that proficiency and that self-directed, self-motivated style, you should be successful in the course. So, final thing on the syllabus I have to go over is, how do you go about learning the course material? I've been doing online courses for over 10 years now, and I kind of came up for this course. It's kind of like this 4-step, someone called it, cycle of learning. So step 1, you're going to start each section, as shown on the academic calendar, by logging into the My Math Lab site. You're going to go to the chapter and section, and you're going to start reading the e-text. While you're reading the e-text, there are going to be links to videos and animations embedded in the e-text done by the author of the book. His name's Kurt Trigstead. So you might find it beneficial to watch these videos to help you get ready for the end of section homework exercises. Also, while you're reading the e-text, there are going to be these things pop up called You Try It practice problems. They pop up after examples. Sometimes it might be beneficial for you to try these exercises because in theory, you've just read an example or watched a video where the author is working out the example. Then these You Try It exercises are meant for you to immediately practice the concepts seen in the example or watched in the video solution of the example. These You Try It exercises, they don't count for a grade, but they're matched with some of the assigned end of section practice exercises. Let me mention again, there's no homework submitted. Homework doesn't count for a grade. The only items that are determining your grade, I've already gone over. The 3 tests, the online quizzes, and the final exam. That's it. You will do the end of section homework exercises to get prepared for the online quizzes, which in turn helps you prepare for the tests. So even though the exercises at the end of the section, do not directly count for a grade, doing them, they really will help you do better on the quizzes and the tests. Hey, that's number 3 here. Try the practice exercises I've suggested at the end of each section. They don't count for a grade, but they do reinforce ideas presented in the section, and they help prepare you for the quizzes and tests. So after you've done all the sections that will be on a given quiz, you will go to the online quiz area and do that assigned quiz. Yes, the quizzes do count for a grade. And then the final thing I have in here is for most of the sections, not all, but for most of the sections that we cover, I've made a YouTube video highlighting key concepts and doing some extra examples of the key concepts or ideas in the section. My videos are supplemental. They do not replace the reading of the e-text and watching the videos embedded in the e-text. In the weekly announcement area at my math lab, which we will go over in a minute, where the weekly announcement area is, I will provide a link on a section by section basis to the YouTube videos I've made. The final item on the syllabus is the acknowledgement of the syllabus. And I don't know what else to say about that. All right, folks, so that's the syllabus. So let me close that. So the next item we'll look at in the course information area is the academic calendar. Hey, the academic calendar is another document that you should definitely print out and have a hard copy of. We've already seen in the syllabus, I've listed deadline dates for the tests and the online quizzes. The academic calendar shows, yes, deadline dates for the quizzes and the tests. So, this is a nice calendar to kind of have printed out, to have on hand, so you can see, Friday, June 14th, that is the deadline for quiz 1 at 11:55 p.m. Wednesday, June 19th is the deadline for quiz 2. Sunday, June 23rd is the deadline for quiz 3. And then the deadline to have completed test 1 is Monday, June 24th, etc., etc. So print this out. It shows all the deadlines. Please note the deadline for the final exam is Saturday, August 3rd. That's technically when the course ends, so got to have the final exam then. And then also on the academic calendar, is a reminder of what sections are covered on each online quiz and what sections are covered on each test and the final exam. Again, this is information that was already presented in the course syllabus. So these documents that I'm going over, these documents that I'm saying you should print out and have a hard copy on hand, numerous places it shows deadline dates. So I'm going to close this academic calendar now, come back to the course information tab, and let's see, next up is the online orientation. So in the online orientation, well, notice I mentioned some documents to have in hand. So I'm telling you some documents to print out. I've already mentioned this, but I'll mention it again. Print out the course syllabus. Print out the academic calendar. You're going to print out the homework to practice exercises and print out the protocol for sending email. Up to date, I have a comment here. We'll go over this in a minute. Every week I'm going to post announcements for the week. So I'll show you one here in a moment. How do you get help? Well, the first way to try to get help, send me an email. Again, here's my email address. It's probably the third time I've pointed out what my email address is. Folks, if you send me an email and I don't reply within 24 hours, you've probably used the wrong email address. I do reply to email in a timely fashion. So that's why this is the third time I've pointed out what my email address is. People tend to not use the correct email. We'll look at the protocol for sending email in a minute. The math and minutes table, I'm not exactly sure what the summer hours are for the math and minutes table, as well as the tutoring center for the summer. It changes from summer to summer. The test, we've already talked about tests. You have 3 tests, final exam. All tests in the final exam, they're taken on a drop-in basis at the Lakeland Testing Center. I've already gone over that. For each test and the final exam, I will make available at the My Math Lab site a folder which will have a study guide, practice test, maybe answers to the practice test, a video where I work through many of the items on the practice test, And we'll look at the test 1 preparation folder here in a minute, because I already have that ready for you to go. Online quizzes, we've already talked about that. So that's just a quick overview of the online orientation. We've seen this mentioned a couple of times, so let's look at the protocol for sending email. Maybe print this out. You should print it out, have a hard copy on hand. Notice the first thing here, be sure you have the correct email address. So yet again, there is my email address. When you send me an email, use your Lakeland email account. You know, it's going to help me knowing, when I look in my inbox, that I have an email from a Lakeland student, one of my current students. If I see I have an email from sleekdime@gmail.com, and that's your personal email account, it won't jump out at me as being one of my students. So please try to use your Lakeland email account. Properly identify yourself. I have a lot of students, so if you could just start off the email by saying, identifying yourself, like, hey, I'm June Johnson. I'm a student in your Math 1650 college algebra online course. That will help me. Allow time for a reply. I do respond to email each day. You will receive a response within 24 hours. Now, if you send me an email late at night or on a weekend, you may not get that immediate response, but you will get one on the next day at the latest. That would be within 24 hours. So sending multiple repeated messages, multiple repeated emails, isn't going to help the situation. I do respond to email in a very timely fashion. I'll let you read through, the rest of the protocol for sending email. It's pretty straightforward. The final comment I'm going to make about email in general is you should get into the habit of checking your Lakeland email at least once a day. That's how I will communicate with you. I will communicate with my students through the Lakeland email. So if I have, an important announcement, I will send you an email. So try to check your Lakeland email once a day. All right, let me close out of the protocol for sending email. Next up in the course information area, the list of homework to practice exercises. Print this out, folks. Have a hard copy on hand. It shows you on a section-by-section basis the homework you should do, the end of section homework problems you should do that will help prepare for the quizzes and the tests. So for example, section 3.1, the homework starts on e-text screen 3.1-34, and these are all of the problems that I say you should do to master the concepts. So this is for every section that we will cover this summer. The final document is the homework to practice those exercises, the answers to them. Now, I'm not suggesting you print this out. If you want to, you can, but I'm going to open it and I'll show you why. It's a big document. It's probably, look, it took a while to unload. It's 52 pages. So if I were a student in this course, when I'm getting ready to do the homework, say in section 3.1, I would just open these answers. It will open in a new tab, and I would come down to wherever section 3.1 is. I'll stop at 1.9 because that's the first section we cover. And I would just have the answers open and ready for me to look at to see if I did a problem correctly. So if I do number 41, I can quickly click over to this tab to see if I have the correct answer for 41. So before I leave the course information area, one more time, print out the course syllabus. Looks like it has something important in it. Print out the academic calendar, print out the protocol for sending email, and print out the list of end of section homework exercises. All right, the next thing over here that I'll look at will be the announcements. You know, I mentioned how I would post weekly announcements, and this is where you'll find them, in the announcements area. You know, I have these ready to go, but you know, you won't see them when you log in. You will only see them once I make them available to you. But you should be able to see right now that the week 1 announcements are ready. So I'm going to click on that. So every Sunday morning, I'm going to post a weekly announcement for the upcoming week. So let's click on the week 1 announcements. And you know, I have them here as a PDF in case for some reason you wanted to print them out. It would be easy to do. The first thing since this is the week 1 announcement, I just do a quick reminder of items you should be printing out from the course information area. How many times have we seen that? But let me scroll to where most announcements will begin. Most weekly announcements will begin with something like this. You know, week 1 announcements, the dates that I determined to be week 1. And then, you know, I mentioned I've created a preview video for each section. Again, my videos don't replace reading the e-text, watching the videos in the e-text. I'm just highlighting the topics coming up, and I do a couple of extra examples, maybe give you my perspective or my spin on the topics. I'm giving these videos, you know, at the beginning of the week so you can watch it as often as you like. You know, if you want to watch it before you read the section, while you're reading the section, after you've read the section. I mean, they're there for you to use however you see fit. So let's look at one of my videos. Notice I say right click on the link and open in a new tab. So I'll follow my own directions. Right click on the link, open link in a new tab. So here's the new tab. Oh, make sure, it's in HD, that's good. So let me play it. I really am talking. You really will be able to hear me. So, you know, the microphone that I'm using here is blocking that out. But that's exactly what it will look like. You know, you can, for each section, got a video. Let's see, what else in a typical weekly announcement? Oh, I remind you, read the e-text sections to prepare for online quiz 1. These will be the 4 sections. And then I remind you again the homework exercises for each section and what e-text screen they start on. Yes, I know this is in a another document, but I'm just repeating it here for your benefit. Here's a reminder on due dates, a reminder when quiz 1 is due, reminder that once you start a quiz, you must complete it. The deadline, June 14th, Friday, June 14th at 11:55. That's for quiz 1. And remember, you can take a quiz up to 3 times. And then after you've done quiz 1, because the deadline is, on Friday, it's a fast-paced course, so you got to start to get ready for online quiz 2. So for online quiz 2, it starts with section 2.4. Here's a preview video I made if you want to check out parallel and perpendicular lines. Section 2.4, the homework begins on eText screen 2.4-16, and those are the exercises. to do. So that's a typical weekly announcement. You know, just to show you the week 2 announcement that I'll post on Sunday morning, June 16th. You know, videos that I've made, YouTube videos that I've made, section by section basis. So, you know, you kind of see it looks the same. You know, you got to do quiz 2, you got to do quiz 3. You know, there are deadlines for quiz 2 and quiz 3. Deadline for quiz 2 is Wednesday, June 19th. Deadline for quiz 3 is Sunday, June 23rd. And then I mentioned the test 1 preparation tab, when the deadline is for test 1. Hours of operation for the testing center. So that's, in short, that's pretty much how you know, the announcement area looks. So let me come back to the main menu. So again, announcements. This is where you're going to find the weekly announcements. Course information. This is where all the important documents are. You know, you saw it. I'll open up and show you the test 1 preparation tab. So for each test, this is what you're going to see. You know, I'm going to have a study guide. I'll open it and show you what a study guide looks like. You know, a lot of stuff reminding you of a lot of stuff. So in the study guide, I show for each section the problems you should know how to do in order to be successful on the test. Besides the study guide, you'll see a practice test. So you could print this out. Here's a practice test. Then answers. Don't have answers for everything on the practice test. Practice test is meant to give you an idea of what the test will look like. But notice I do provide answers for most of the items on the practice test. Again, the practice test is just meant to give you an idea of how the test will look, etc. And video solution for many of the items on the practice test. So that'll be me working through the video, or working through solution for some of the items on the practice test. So that's for each test, you will see a preparation tab with these items in it to help you get ready for the test. So we've looked at announcements, course information, preparation tabs for tests. Oh, online quizzes. Might as well take a look at one of these. I have all the online quizzes in here ready for you to go. So you can always take an online quiz before the deadline date. I mean, you don't have to wait to the last minute to do your quizzes. And so when you're ready to do online quiz, any online quiz, but say online quiz 1, click on the online quiz tab. You'll come here and click on online quiz 1. And, you know, once you begin it, you have to complete it. So away you would go. Grade book. You will always know your current grade in the class. You know, whenever you do a quiz, the grade will be recorded in the grade book. Once you take a test, then as soon as I get it graded, I will record your test score here in the grade book. So you should always know you're standing in the class. Right now I'm at a 95% in the class. Let's see. The only other thing to look at over here is the e-text. So let me go ahead and open the e-text. So I click on the read e-text. Click on the e-text. It's taking a little bit of time to open the e-text. Okay, once the e-text opens, over here on the left, you're going to see the table of contents. And since the first section we're going to cover is section 1.9, let me open up chapter 1 so I can just click here to quickly get to section 1.9. So up here, this is how I can go forward to the next page. Notice here's where the page is, 1.9-1. So if I quickly wanted to get to a particular page, say if I wanted to get to page 1.9-13, you know, I could just come up here and enter type in 1.9-13, hit enter, and it'll take me right to that page. But I want to go back to the beginning of the section. So let me let me kind of click through page by page. So when you look at this, it reads just like a typical book. I want to click through kind of quickly because I want to get to rational inequalities. So you'll be reading through this, telling you what to do. Click. So here is a rational inequality to solve. So you could read through the solution, step 3, step 4, and then you'd have to click here to continue reading through the solution, and finally finish it. Or once you've read through it, or instead of reading through it, I can't tell you what's best for you. This is the video icon. So I could click on that, and here's a video. Hopefully we'll be able to hear his audio. I'm going to click on it. Okay, well, this is the author. This is the author of the textbook. You will be able to hear what he's saying. Again, my microphone is blocking out the system here, which is actually okay. But it'll be, him working through that example. So you could read the example, you could watch the video showing you the example. Let me close it. But that's what a video looks like. Notice after that example, there's another example. So, here's another example to read through or watch the video. And it's noticing here he's saying, watch the video to see the entire solution. But I wanted to show you these you try it exercises. So the you try it exercises, I could just click on this right now. So I've seen a couple of examples. I can click on that to do some you try it exercises. And it's like, determine all boundary points and solve the rational inequality. Express the solution using interval notation. So the one thing I want to point out, especially when you're doing online quizzes, is you have to follow the directions completely. So this says move all terms to one side of the inequality, leaving 0 on the other side. Write the numerator and denominator in completely factored form. That's just for this you try it. But notice it says here factor completely. That's an example of you have to follow the directions. So these are the you try it exercises. I'm going to close out of it. So when you're doing the online quizzes, if it tells you to write the answer of the equation of a line in slope-intercept form, and you write it in point-slope form, it will be marked wrong. A lot of times people will send me an email and they'll say, hey, I got number 3 on quiz 2 marked incorrect, but I did have the correct answer. Could you check it out? Folks, 99% of the time when I check it out, the reason why the answer was marked incorrect was simply not following directions. So please follow the directions on the online quizzes. Let me just kind of click one more page. So these are where the exercises begin. So if you remember, I think I said for section 1.9, the exercises begin on 1.9-17. Maybe that's not these. It starts here. So that's why I list the e-text screen that the exercises will start on, and then away you go doing the homework. So that's a quick overview of your e-text. So to recap, see the course homepage. Yours will look different than mine. Here's where you will find weekly announcements. Every Sunday morning, I will post a weekly announcement for the upcoming week. So please come here, click on the appropriate week and read through. Course information. We looked at the course information tab, and in the course information area, you find the course syllabus. Print that out and have a hard copy of it on hand. Academic calendar. Print that out and have a hard copy on hand. Protocol for sending email. Print that out and have a hard copy on hand. And list of end of section exercises to practice the concepts. So print that out and have a hard copy on hand. E-text. So this is where you go to access the e-text. Online quizzes. Gradebook, where you can always see what your current grade is. And test preparation tabs to help you get ready for tests. So that's it, folks. That's a quick overview of the My Math Lab. So you're ready to begin the course. So good luck, work hard, and thanks for watching.